Someone in the collective, you may have spent so much of your life asking permission to think something differently, permission to want something differently, permission to live differently, that you may have forgotten one very important thing, and that is that it is your life. I'm picking up that someone in the collective is no longer interested in making everybody else comfortable while you remain miserable. We're going to get into this energy. Welcome in, family. Come on in. Soul Tribe, Starseed family. New viewers. I hope everybody is doing well. We're doing great. Now, the interesting thing is, I have no idea what area of life this is showing up for someone. I don't know if this is in love. I don't know if this is in career. If this is in family expectations, or maybe just something in general that is unorthodox about you, where you are ready to let go of the pressure that comes with trying to live according to someone else's standards. We're going to get into this energy and see exactly what your spirit wants you to know. All right. Um, I'm going to show you what I have out here first. Okay. Because I do have some cards already out. And then we're going to clarify them with a pop of art tarot or pop art tarot. And go from there, all right? So the first card we have out is skirt. Okay. And then we have sneaky link. Sneaky link. It tells me that someone is now starting to like stand their ground in their truth. They're not trying to escape their truth. They're no longer trying to hide. It's something about themselves, okay? They're no longer trying to sneak. They're no, and even if they weren't sneaking, if they weren't trying to sneak, they're no longer allowing themselves to believe that they either need to, that they should, or that they have to. Okay, we have the cleanse. All right. So reading negativity, purification, detox. It feels like maybe at some point there was the goal to try to get rid of some aspect of yourself. Maybe there was, I don't know, guidance from family. Maybe it had to do with environment, the way you were raised. Where there was this idea that you needed to purge yourself from something concerning yourself. You need to cleanse something concerning yourself, or rid yourself of something, because it feels like if it was ridding negativity, it was because something outside or someone outside of you was defining some aspect of your truth, of who you are, as negative. It doesn't feel like this was truly your definition, but maybe this was a definition that you adhere to at some time, for some time, just trying to kind of stay within the bounds that you were given. We have kinky ways here in reverse, okay? In reverse, it tells me that someone in the collective is no longer seeing this aspect of themselves as weird. Okay, maybe you're not even seeing it as kinky anymore. Okay, and this kinky could have to do with sexuality, but it could also just have to do with something something about you that is unorthodox in comparison to your circle of influence, your peer circle. It could be something as simple as, you want to go out and maybe get a tattoo, and you were raised in a very strict home where tattoos were perverse, or tattoos were kink or weird. It could be something that simple, or it could have to do with someone's sexuality. But I I don't honestly really know right now. You could want to go into a career choice that is unorthodox. Maybe your whole family is doctors and lawyers. Maybe your whole family went to college and you are choosing that you don't want to go to college. You want to just, do something more creative or something more entrepreneurial, right? Something that comes natural to you, something that you wouldn't necessarily need college for, like you're a painter, right? Or you're a singer, you know what I mean? And you want to go and express and pursue a creative endeavor that doesn't really require formal education. It just requires the hands-on experience that you would get if you was to follow that passion. That's what I'm picking up. Someone is no longer seeing this aspect that was once deemed negative. Maybe you allowed yourself to believe it was negative. You're no longer seeing it as that, okay? We have karmic lesson, all right? And the beautiful thing is that this is not just, rebellion for rebellion's sake. This is lessons learned. The lesson of self-love, maybe, self-acceptance, the lesson of not allowing yourself to be boxed in and boxing yourself in a way that undermines your truth, okay? Because your truth has a lot to do with your spiritual evolution, your spiritual growth, and your divinity. We have cuffing season, okay? So it tells me that whatever area this is in, you're ready to pursue this thing. You're ready to get out and live in your truth. You're ready to grab hold to something that feels good to you, that makes you happy. So you're not really wanting any longer to adhere to the fact that it is okay for you to not be happy while everyone else is happy with you not being happy, right? And then when you really look at the people's lives who may be, pushing this negative mindset or this negative perspective around this particular area of your life, they're not even happy with their own life. And yet it's like, so why should I follow suit? You didn't do what you wanted to do and you're not even happy. So why should I follow suit, right? All right. So let's get into this and see exactly what it is. Let's crack this open a little bit. Okay, Spirit. Tell us more. Clarify skirt and sneaky link, please. We have a 9 of Pentacles. Fear of losing independence, wanting success without putting in the effort, struggling with work-life balance, overspending, making impulsive purchases, craving easy money. Now, I don't know if there is an area of your life in your finances where there's a dependency on maybe your parents or maybe on it feels parental. It feels like family, even if it's just a parental figure, where there's still a codependency. Okay, maybe let's see here, clarify, because I'm picking up maybe you have overcome that codependency. Maybe at one time you kind of maybe needed to sneak around because there was a codependency. I don't know if this is something you snuck around and partaked in when you were a teenager, and now that you're an adult, you're realizing you no longer have to do that. I don't know if you were an adult that for some reason was still holding on to a certain codependency financially, or was in a position where you were codependent on someone and it might not be parents, it could be anybody, honestly, when you think about it that way. But this could be someone who doesn't agree with something about you, or feels like something about you is negative, okay? Let's see. Clarify the 9 of Pentacles, Spirit. We have the 9 of Wands. One partner carrying the burden, feeling exhausted at work, struggling to keep up, nearing burnout, avoiding financial pressures, attempting to escape financial stress. So this tells me that there was maybe some financial challenges, and maybe you were codependent on someone who doesn't agree with some aspect of who you are. And so there may have been a need to sneak around or be low key, with something, okay? Maybe you have very traditional parents, and there was something untraditional about your lifestyle. Not necessarily, I'm not picking up like life threatening, untraditional, like, you know, addictions or anything. I'm not picking up that. I'm picking up more just a truth about you that defies traditional normative ways of thinking and looking at life. Okay. We have the 10 of Pentacles here. So whatever this financial struggle was, that financial struggle is over. Whatever that codependency was on this individual or an individual that you may have felt the need to kind of, keep that a little to yourself, that codependency is no longer there. Or it looks like that you have recovered financially, you've recovered your independence. Okay, a financially secure partnership, building a lasting career, securing a stable future, receiving windfall or inheritance, establishing a solid financial foundation. Whatever this 10 of Pentacles is, this is something that you did on your own. You accomplished on your own without collaborating with anyone. We have the 8 of Pentacles here also letting me know that whatever this is that you do or you've done, you've mastered some aspect of yourself. This tells me that you were very focused on your finances. Okay, you were very focused on the area of your life that was keeping you codependent. Okay, so this other area that the reading is actually about, the financial, they kind of tie in, and I'm not really sure, other than it looks like maybe someone in the collective, you were in a position where you may have had to be codependent on someone who it may not have been in your best interest at that time to let them know everything about you or be free to be every part of you, because there's a part of you that this person may not have maybe understood. Maybe they wouldn't have liked it. Maybe there would have been backlash. I don't know, but it feels like whatever that codependency is, you've worked very hard to get yourself to this financial freedom here and this stability. Okay, so clarify the cleanse, spirit. Okay, now this landed over here with the codependency and the no longer hiding, the no longer keeping things low key. We have the 8 of Wands. And this is why you had to stay focused on your monies. Okay, this is why you had to fix one area in order to experience freedom in another area, because there was someone that you may have needed to kind of keep your guard up, or you may have needed to move a certain way. Okay, because it feels like this individual, if they knew, they would have been so focused on that, and it would have been a hyper focus, which is, it's like they're gonna know whatever this is about you that you're standing in now, and you're openly declaring for yourself, but you're not codependent on them, so their opinion doesn't matter at this point. So it feels like this cleanse is this other individual's energy. Okay, this is the energy they would have had towards some other area of your personality, of your lifestyle, of your career choice, or whatever that is. And so there was a need maybe in the past to remain low key with something until you get out of this codependent energy. Okay, and so you had to stay focused on the financial to rectify that. Okay, because this really feels like there was a need to kind of protect yourself around this individual who would have perceived or defined or called or even maybe even verbally abusive in a way that would have added more insult to injury. It would have caused more damage to you emotionally, because this is really who you are, true to your heart, right? Clarify the 8 of Wands. Yeah. We have the 10 of Pentacles here. I'm sorry, the 10 of Cups in reverse. And this landed on the 9 of Wands. Okay. So it feels like this I don't know still what this is, but it feels like there was someone you were codependent on that would not have been happy, and then it would have just been an unhappy home. It would have been an unhappy environment. Whether you were roommating with someone who has very traditional views in some area of life, or whether this was you were living with family who has not traditional views in a particular area where you may hold untraditional views. It felt like a need to remain protected and to keep your guard up concerning this area, because it would have just been interference from relatives, a brief fling, external forces impacting your relationship, a hostile work environment, tensions among colleagues, disagreements with family over finances. I mean, maybe you found an unorthodox way in which you are now making your money. Okay. And again, this could be you going into a career field of choice when everybody in your family is either corporate, or maybe everybody works for the company business and you didn't want to. And so maybe you played along, kind of, did what you had to do while you were working on something that felt more right to you. And then that began to pan out. And now you no longer have to play like you want to take over the company when the times, you no longer have to play the family business game. Okay. Take it how it reverberates, apply it where it fits, family. Okay. All right. Let's look at Kinky Ways, Spirit. What is this about? Kinky Ways in reverse. Okay. Some kind of confirmation that's come before the card has even come out. Intuition. A fresh outlook on relationships. Discovering a creative outlet at work. We have the Page of Cups. Daydreaming about potential career paths. Unrealistic financial goals. Fantasizing about money. This absolutely could be that someone has decided to go a different way, to do something unconventional and unorthodox, not for you, but for your circle of influence. Okay, that's what this feels like. But we're going to see more. This could have to do with love, relationships, could be both, right? Clarify the Page of Cups, please. We have the Hierophant. And I knew when I was sitting with this that this card was going to come out, because it really gave me Hierophant energy. It gives me regulations. Okay. It gives me traditional. It gives me stay in the box. It gives me that someone is no longer interested in the goddamn box. Okay. And someone no longer has to be. Not that you ever had to be, but wisdom, right? Wisdom. You could do the right thing at the wrong time and then suffer unnecessary, energy that you don't have to deal with if you just use wisdom and take care of the first thing first, and then, you can do your thing. So we have this Hierophant energy. Stable, traditional relationships, spiritual connection and love, teamwork, guidance from a mentor, ensuring financial security, reliance on traditional financial methods. Something about either love and money, or money, you have an untraditional thought process about it. Okay. We have the Ace of Cups here in reverse. Sadness, separation, vulnerability, insecurity, hindering love, unfriendly or distant colleagues, disappointing financial news, frustration, and sadness about money matters. You're no longer interested in whatever this structured way of looking at what you can do with your life. You don't love something. Okay, you don't love what everybody else is doing. You don't love being You might be a little bit more edgy of a personality. You might be a little bit more of a risk taker. You might chase thrills a little bit. And again, I'm not picking up anything like toxic or harmful. I'm thinking like more, it feels like you want a more adventurous life in some area of your life. Or this could be something as simple as you making a decision to honor the way you, what kind of work you want to go into, or the kind of love you want to experience, right? It's crazy because my shirt is, you know what I mean? So if this could have a lot to do with that, but take it how it reverberates, whether it is love of people that are different culturally, different race, different gender, or whether it is a different spiritual path. You know what I mean? Maybe you come from a more religious background and you actually feel more called to expand spiritually and expand your point of view. Whatever this is, even if it's career related, it has to do with something you love and something maybe many other people around you that may play a pivotal role in your life and be very important to you. They may not understand or understand that, right? But whatever this is, whatever these rules are, whatever these social normative, you know what I mean, traditional ways of looking at the possibilities, you're no longer interested in that, okay? You have found something that you love. And so this is why the kink is in reverse, because it's not kinky to you. It's kinky to them and to them, because this ain't what they love. You understand what I'm saying? It's what you love. Clarify karmic lesson, spirit. The reverse high priestess. Yes, yes, and yes again. So this is the lesson. This was the spiritual lesson. All right? Regardless of how spiritual you may claim yourself to be, you're showing up as a high priestess, though. Okay? You're just in the reverse. In this particular situation, you were. But it feels like you are learning the lesson about trusting your own intuition. Okay, concealing your true self from your partner, feeling disconnected, lacking crucial information on projects, ignoring your gut feelings, incomplete information. There's a karmic lesson here that somebody is learning, and I feel like you are learning it. I feel like this is a karmic lesson that you're actually coming out of because you're recognizing that a lot of past involvement in the Hierophant energy was creating karmic patterns, right? And it was because that Hierophant energy and whatever area that was showing up, those rules, that structure, those traditions are totally not aligned with who you are. So it feels like the karmic lessons was being had because you were maybe missing some information about yourself. Maybe you were not willing to trust what you knew. Maybe you didn't feel safe. Okay, going back to the Nine of Pentacles in reverse with the Nine of Wands in reverse. Maybe it was just you didn't feel safe enough to trust your gut instinct. Your instinct told you something, but for maybe many years you just silenced it or quieted it, or you kept moving kind of low key in it because there was a lack of safety. Now, the karmic lesson, like I said, feels like there was lessons you had to learn because you were in this reverse high priestess. Whether this is a reverse high priestess because you didn't trust what you intuitively knew about yourself or the way you should go in the past, or what this is you being placed in a reverse high priestess energy because you were misguided, or you again were not allowed to feel safe in your own decision making. Okay, so there's a karmic lesson about trusting yourself, trusting the divine, trusting that it's okay to be who you are. Okay, be who you are. It's okay to do that for you. It don't have to be okay for nobody else. For you to be who you are. It don't have to be like. You understand? Clarify the high priestess. Two of Wands. I'm sorry, Two of Pentacles. Imbalance here. A mishandling, not giving enough attention to your partner, being overworked, managing too many projects, letting things slip through the cracks, struggling with too many bills. Something at one time was slipping through the cracks as it relates to your authenticity or your authenticity. Okay? Something was slipping through the cracks as it relates to you living in your true self. And this was the reason for the karmic lessons. Okay? The beautiful thing is that I feel like somebody is seeing the redemption, the self-redemption, right? Somebody's experiencing self-redemption, okay? Because you're now releasing, you're now letting the idea or someone else's ideas of who you are and what you should or can do, you're letting that go. You're realizing that it is not your job to keep other people happy if it's going to keep you miserable. We have a King of Cups here in reverse. We have the Five of Swords. So there was a period of self-sabotage here because you maybe were not connected to your heart space. Selfishness in love, being misled or used. Lack of effort in relationships, selfish behavior at work. So it feels like the self-sabotage was from being misled. Okay, and we've kind of all, if you're healing from things, we're healing from ultimately being misled in some kind of way, and whatever way that is, showing up for you. This feels like it has to do with an area of loving yourself above and first and foremost, standing in your truth, embracing who you are. So this does feel very self-redemptive. Like you're moving into an energy of honoring yourself and honoring your truth. See the Six of Swords here. And that's moving you into calmer waters here. We have the Six of Wands. I love it. I love it. And you're not going back to something either. Now, the Six of Swords here is in the reverse. But for some reason, I'm picking this up as you're not going back to something. Because I saw it in the upright while I was shuffling. So that tells me you're moving into calmer waters. And now with it showing up in the reverse, partnered with the Six of Wands, it tells me you're not going back to the idea of you having to hide, sneak, run around, not be true to you, avoid something altogether because someone told you that it was negative or evil or wicked or whatever the case may be, unacceptable. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you have relinquished that energy and you're not going back to it. Clarify cuffing season, Spirit. Okay, we got a Queen of Cups out here, and what is this? We have a Knight of Wands, Queen of Cups. Avoiding commitment, impatience in love, unstable and unpredictable relationships, lack of direction in your career, rushing through tasks, overconfidence with money, reckless. Cuffing season says single and ready to mingle, ready for a relationship, on the hunt. Okay, it feels like somebody is you're ready to pursue something, but not in a reckless way. And that's why I was picking up the overtone of this is not about addictions or anything that would harm you. You know what I'm saying? Anything that will put you in harm's way. This is not about that. This is about self-love ultimately. And whatever area of your life that this is showing up for you. It's about letting go of the status quo. It's about someone realizing that they don't have to live up to other people's standards. Especially if those standards undermine your truth. Okay? That's what this feels like. The Queen of Cups says a caring and supportive nature that attracts suitors, taking on a nurturing role at work, using financial resources to care for others, practicing generosity. So you are ready to share yourself with the world. Okay, share your heart with the world. You showed up in the past with these karmic lessons as a reverse King of Cups. Now you're showing up here as a reverse Queen of Cups. Okay, so this is definitely emotional, not logical. This is you honoring your heart. This is you saying, you know what, if I'm ever going to have the life that I want to live, then I have to love it and live it my own way. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm nurturing, let me be nurturing. If I'm kind, let me be kind. If I am open to all different types of people and experiences and adventures, then let me do that. Okay? Clarify the Queen of Cups. And now your dreams are being fulfilled. Positivity leading to romance, a joyful relationship, a fulfilling career, recognition and respect in your workplace, abundance, financial comfort and security, material rewards. Yeah. So if this has to do with your career choice, you're stepping into this abundance. If this has to do with your choice of love, you're stepping into this abundance. Okay, whatever this is you're desiring, if you were desiring to maybe not live a traditional domesticated lifestyle, maybe you wanted to be a mobile dweller, or you decided you wanted to live a minimalist life, you know what I'm saying, get your little tiny home and keep it cute, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean, while everybody in your family is just overly doing things, got big ass houses with only 2 people living in them for no reason, you know what I mean. This could be that. But whatever this is, your dream is being fulfilled. Your desires are being fulfilled because you are honoring your heart now. And because you are honoring your heart, the universe is filling your life with such experiences that continue to honor your heart. Yeah, because this is about your self-mastery. Okay, this is about your self-mastery. This is about you working your craft. This is about you honing your craft, whatever that is. You know, you being willing to develop and take this leap of faith here. Ooh, you moving quickly towards something too. Quickly taking a leap of faith. This could be you getting on the dating scene in the way in which you want to date. Okay? You're honoring yourself. You're honoring your desire. Someone is coming to the realization, wait a minute, my life is my responsibility. And now I'm totally responsible for myself, because unlike the past, I'm not codependent on anybody. I have come to bring myself to financial stability after maybe some hardships or a little hiccup in the finances. And maybe you were dependent on somebody and you needed to kind of like stay low key with certain things, but you don't have to do that anymore. We have a tower here. Break up, the end of a fragile relationship, a profound shift in how you perceive love. Unexpected job loss, significant disruptions at work, workplace turmoil, financial setback. Whatever this is, your perception has changed. Okay? Your perception has changed in a way that is creating more beautiful energy around you. You're responsible for your happiness, you're responsible for your joy. All right? And you're taking full responsibility of that. Anything else, Spirit? Let me see. Let's get a hard truth here. What is the hard truth that the collective who reverberates with this message? What is the hard truth that they came across that helped them move into this beautiful energy? I saw self-sabotage. I think the hard truth was you realize, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I see with my good eye. I see with my good eye that while I'm over here playing by somebody else's rules, I'm basically self-sabotaging myself. What is the hard truth that the collective came to realize that they needed to honor their heart? A reality check. You have big dreams, but are your goals achievable? Contemplate fantasy versus reality, because manifestation without work is delusion. Tell me more. Landing on the Ten of Pentacles. We got scared of change. Fear of the unknown is stifling your transformation and blocking your path. Growth happens within discomfort. Growth happens within discomfort. Take a deep breath and keep moving. Something in your reality changed. Something in your reality brought in a change or made you aware that you were afraid of change. And this may have taken place in one area of life. And by you working diligently to master that area of life, it kind of opened you up to the other areas of life where you may be playing it safe. Okay? We have grudge here. Harboring hatred traps you in the past, anchoring you to old wounds and preventing progress. Let go with forgiveness to break free from the cycle. Now, this grudge, this hatred could have not even been yours. It could have been perpetrated towards you or projected towards you, or you could have been groomed with this hatred, right? Hatred for something. Okay, that you started to realize, well, damn, if I hate that in someone else, then I'm ultimately hating that in myself, because the truth is I'm more like that person than I am not. You understand what I'm saying? Support. Tell us more, Spirit. Fear of your own power. Power has been quietly developing inside of you, waiting to be claimed, but fear is stopping you. It's time to own your strength and unleash your magic. And that's literally kind of what I was just kind of picking up. Okay? So whatever this is, and see, we have blind spots here, and then we have self-sabotage. Okay, so this feels like a blind spot was created in you, possibly by other people in your environment, parents, family members, society, whatever, religious concepts and structures and things. There was a blind spot created. You were taught to hate something in someone else, or taught to hate something about other people, which was keeping you from being able to see or embrace that you may be more like them in that way than you were groomed to accept, right? So ultimately it was self-sabotage. So if you were raised in a home that was like straight and narrow, everything's done by the book, and but yet, you kind of would be in the back seat with mom and pops riding in a Lexus or whatever, because they both a doctor and a lawyer, and you ride through maybe a little sketchy side of town, and you're judging the people who you're taught to judge, people who got tattoos and wear leather jackets and ride motorcycles and got locks in their hair, and you're taught to judge people. But in all honesty, what you were judging is that same kind of frequency signature in yourself. Okay? And so therefore it was self-sabotaging, because you honestly were more like those people than you were the parents and the siblings on the straight and narrow doing the traditional thing, just by the book. You internally may have been more like the people with the rock star vibe, you know what I mean? With the want to live life on the edge vibe, with the people who really just want to be outside of the box and maybe, dye their hair lime green, or put piercings in their nose and ears, and paint their nails and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is really who you are. You are a wild card, is what I just heard Spirit say. I like that. You're a wild card. Yeah, baby. But you starting to really come into this truth and embrace this about yourself, okay? All right, let's get some Akashic Oracle. Affirm resolution. Something has been resolved. You had this reality check. You saw the areas in which you were being taught to fear change, to hold grudges, to judge people, to maybe hate people different than yourself, but they found out that they weren't really different than you. This has been resolved. Whatever it is you have been struggling with is about to be resolved. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. So somebody is relieved. I can feel it because it's like carrying somebody else's money. You know what I mean? You're basically carrying somebody else's burden that they have within themselves, for themselves, that belongs to themselves. It's not yours. And that can be heavy. Get one more, Spirit. Detach. That hit that thing hard. This is sudden and final. So whoever these individuals are, family, friends, old peers, whatever, this is a fast and final detachment. Okay? You're being asked to detach from something that you've been holding on to. When we hold on too tightly to the desired outcome, it restricts the flow. Trust that the outcome will work out and let go of your attachment to it. I feel like I gotta get one more. Tell me more, Spirit. Acceptance. Yep. That's the note I wanted to end on. Acceptance. You may be disappointed with the recent outcome. Remember, if one door closes, you're being redirected to one that will soon open to your true soul path. I feel like somebody in the collective, you're definitely on the right path now. Okay. If you felt like you weren't before, if you didn't even know you weren't, but through circumstances, through challenges, through life taking turns, you have come to kind of realize, like, wait a minute, I'm on somebody else's path. That's not my path. Let me get on my path. You're accepting, and you accepting your path is allowing you to move away from, right, to detach from the idea of that you were holding, that was projected towards you and projected on you. And this is bringing some beautiful resolution, okay, and beautiful acceptance in towards you. All right. All right, collective, this has been the message. All right, let me know in the comments how it reverberated for you. Okay, thank you so much to my Starseed family, Soul Tribe, you know what I mean, returning viewers, to my new viewers, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I want to appreciate you for being here. Appreciate everyone for being here, for all of your love that you show me on the channel. It never goes unnoticed, okay? If you are not a subscriber, this is a good time to just click that little button right there. You know what I'm saying? Click that little button and then go click that other one called the notification button, so you'll know when your girl is back with another message and you won't miss nothing. You could be a part of the premieres. You could be a part of the community. Beautiful community, very supportive, very loving, very compassionate community we have. So welcome in. Don't be shy, all right? If anybody's in need of a personal reading, the link is in the description, okay? You can click it. It'll take you to my website where you can book. Now, when you get to the website, scroll down to the middle of the page. You'll see a 2-step process. Please make sure you do both steps so that you can get your reading back in a timely fashion without any delays, hang-ups, miscommunications, all that understanding, okay? All right, fam. Like, share, hype it up if you have one to spare. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.